that despite the potential, I am relieved that we are not able to even meet the demand for non-stringent market in Middle East and other areas, even for sheep and goats. For cattle, they are saying our cattle are, sometimes the numbers are too small, the weight of the animals are too small. I'm given an example where a market was found in Indonesia. They wanted a various number of cattle, but when the technical team went to the field, they could hardly get 10% or 20% of that. Reason? They wanted a cattle of a certain weight, which we did not have. Our weight was maybe half what was required in the market. The same with sheep and goats. And I'm told that is a very lucrative market, especially for Middle East. So one of the areas we are, if I'm approved, is to look at our breeds. The Borana, the Sahaiwas, the bigger ones, so that we are able to distribute this to the farmers so that they are able to have cattle and breeds which can go to that market. There is also the issue about feedlots, making sure that we have community feedlots where they can fatten those animals, they can make them go to the weight which is required. So such kind of interventions. And I'm happy to note that livestock and lead meat is one of the priority value chains according to the beta. So we'll be able to handle that. Thank you.
Owen Bayer.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to pose the following question to the nominee. I know he has taken time to explain something on edible oils, which is actually part of my question, and you allow me, it's not repetitive, but from another angle, Honorable Speaker. I would like to say that we spent around 160 billion on edible oils imports. The agricultural budget is around 84.9 billion, thereabout. And a lot of money is actually used there. AFA, the Agricultural Food Authority, has a department on edible oils. But the work that goes in there is probably very limited. Probably they are managing more the imports than actually growing the edible crops in this country. And that's why we get into this. And what do they get? They make around 2 billion shillings a year for the tax that is imposed on edible oil. And therefore, we are not solving the problem on edible oils. In the past, nominee, crops such as coconut, cashew nuts, groundnuts, crops which are very passionate about because the region I come from actually grows these issues. But they have been neglected completely, such that coconut and cashew nuts are crops that are continue to decline. We have old boughs, we have the old tall coconut trees, and the productivity is shrinking every day. And yet we continue to import. We have the solution. The coast of Kenya and part of the eastern part can grow this macadamia and simsim, sunflower, all those crops. And it made the people of the coast very rich, and the country got enough revenue. But they've been on the decline. And yet AFA, the department, the area of edible crops, is not doing much. Tell me, what kind of reforms will you bring to reduce the imports on edible oil, both legislative and policy, and also increase the production of cashew nuts and coconut so that we can cut down on the budget on oil crops? Secondly, Honorable Speaker, ADC is Agricultural Development Corporation, which is supposed to help the Agriculture Department. And one of the things that ADC did was to have enough land set aside. I had the question on now we are moving to settlement, and but ADC has swaths of land But what has happened for many years, there has not been any protection on this. They've been divided, they've been given out. I know even the ADC in Malindi, they have a huge farm in Malindi, but now they're actually renting their own farm because people grabbed it. Now the land they own, they are actually paying rent on. In terms of policy and legislation, what are you going to do to protect ADC and actually spur the productivity of ADC to ensure that as a country we still anchor ourselves in agriculture, and from agriculture to manufacturing and to jobs? I thank you.
Robert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The nominee has come out as very brave because there's one answer he gave. I was very impressed when you said that you're willing to even advise in correcting the mess in state departments in the ministry. When you said that you feel that irrigation is misplaced and you will fight for it, that means you're a brave man. Now, I want to just point out two things. One which was raised by Honorable Naisula on the issue of Botswana, which actually exports 95% of its beef products to countries like Norway and the United Arab Emirates. And what she said is what I want to confirm, that actually they have a Botswana Meat Commission which was borrowed heavily and fashioned after Kenya Meat Commission. But years later, while theirs is thriving, Kenya's KMC is actually now in the hands of the military. So I don't know, what would you do? Because as a brave person, you must be able to make very serious and tough decisions to bring back that livestock sector to what it should be. Now, secondly, the other issue is the issue of corruption in the ministry. From NCPB and those state departments within the ministry, there's a lot of there's rampant corruption. In fact, I will tell you that at one time, just recently, Kenyans were treated to a circus of, the sale of funny product in the name of fertilizer. And the parliament was actually seized of the matter and tried to handle it. Now, there's a gentleman who was my neighbor. This is a real story. And he had a piece of land, 5 acres. He was actually selling it. We were trying to get a buyer for him. Then he got appointed to the Kenya Sugar Board. Within a few months, he now started buying off all the neighbors and stopped selling his land. There is a lot of money that gets lost in our state departments, especially the agricultural one. Now, I've seen that you are worth 214 million. You are going into this sector. All those cartels are there, and they are willing to make you a billionaire with the next 3 years. Are you going to be able to resist, Bwana Nominee? Thank you, Chair.
Yes, Dr. Karanja.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Will they make you a billionaire, or you are a billionaire already?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And thank you, Honorable Owen Bayer, for your question about this issue about edible oils. Yes, this is a classical case of we need to do import substitution. We cannot continue spending our good money importing things we can do in this country. As I indicated earlier, the edible oils is one of the key priorities in BETA, and if approved, I have no other alternative but to work day and night to make sure that we reduce the import bill, especially on edible oils, be it on sunflower, coconut, and cashew nuts. I know especially in the coastal zone, these are very good crops, which has been there, naturally growing there. What may be needed is to review the value chains. Their value chains, make sure that farmers are getting the necessary technologies and inputs, and also the machinery and technology to get the oil and others. Because edible oils also has another offshoot. Because, for instance, if you do sunflower, you do canola, when you squeeze the oil, what remains is what is used in animal feeds. And this is what we are importing. So it has it will help us in those areas that we get the oil, and also we support, especially our animal feeds industry. So it is quite a good industry where we need to work on, and if approved, I work day and night, I can assure you, to make sure that we reduce this import bill. It has been there. I know even in Western Kenya there is also the issue about palm oil, which is coming up, where we can get the varieties to plant there. So it's something which is an open potential.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
Maybe just
majority.
quick supplementary, because I hear what the nominee is saying, especially in terms of edible oils and the value chain around the production and growth and production of edible oils.